She's not even on court yet, and the desert already feels different. That's what makes this moment so dangerous. Because when Alexandra Eala walks into Indian Wells as a seeded player for the first time in her career, this isn't just another tournament, this is a statement, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why her first match in the California desert could quietly change the balance of the WTA season. The Philippines' pride has arrived in Southern California, not as a hopeful wild card, not as a promising junior, but as world number 31. Let that sink in. 20 years old, top 31 on the planet, and now officially seated at one of the biggest non-Grand Slam events in tennis, the BNP Paribas Open at the Indian Wells Tennis Garden. If you've been watching her closely, you know this didn't happen overnight. But if you haven't, you're about to realize why the rest of the tour is paying attention. Indian Wells is not just another stop. Players call it the fifth slam for a reason. The slow, hard courts, the heavy desert air, the high bouncing balls, it exposes everything. Your patience, your footwork, your mental strength. There's nowhere to hide here, and this year, Alexandra Eala doesn't have to survive round 1. She has a first-round bye. She steps straight into the round of 64. That's what being seeded does. That's what being ranked 31 in the world does. But here's where it gets interesting. Her first opponent will be either Dayana Yastremska or Zhang Shuai. Two very different challenges. Yastremska brings raw aggression and fearless shot-making. Zhang brings experience and tactical intelligence. Either way, Eala's first match won't be a warm-up. It'll be a test. And yet, if you look at what she did last season, you start to wonder whether this might actually be the perfect stage for her next leap. Let's rewind. The turning point wasn't supposed to happen so fast. Last year in Miami, she entered as a wild card. No pressure, no expectations, just a young player hoping to compete. And then she detonated the draw. She stunned Iga Swiatek. Yes, that Iga Swiatek, the former world number 1, a multiple Grand Slam champion, a player who dominates with precision and control. Eala didn't just survive, she dictated. Then she took down Madison, another Grand Slam champion, another power hitter, another statement, and suddenly, the conversation changed. She wasn't promising, she wasn't up and coming, she was dangerous. That semi-final run in Miami didn't just give her ranking points, it gave her belief. It gave her proof that she could stand across the net from champions and not blink. And belief in tennis? That's everything. She didn't stop there. She captured her first WTA 125 title in Guadalajara. That matters. Titles matter. Learning how to close tournaments matters. Then came Eastbourne. Grass courts, different rhythm, different movement. She reached her first WTA Tour final. That showed versatility. It showed adaptability. It showed that Miami wasn't a fluke. She debuted in the main draw of the French Open. That's another milestone. Clay demands patience and construction. She gained experience. Then at the US Open, she earned her first Grand Slam main draw win against Clara Towson. That win might not have made global headlines, but internally, it was huge, because winning at slams is a different pressure entirely. All of that momentum now funnels into Indian Wells, and here's the detail I think most fans are underestimating. She's not preparing alone to Dassert. She's sharpening her game alongside Solana and Laura Siegemund. And this is where the story gets even more fascinating. Laura Siegemund is 37 years old, ranked number 53. A veteran. A doubles mastermind. Recently a finalist in Dubai alongside Vera Zvonareva. That kind of experience? Priceless. Siegemund understands patterns. She understands court positioning. She understands how to slow matches down when opponents want chaos. Indian Wells is slow. It rewards construction. It rewards discipline. Training with someone like Siegemund in these conditions is not random. It's strategic. Then there's Solana, 21 years old, ranked number 64, one of the tour's rising names. And here's the beautiful layer to this history. Back in 2021, Eala and Sierra teamed up in doubles at the Orange Bowl and reached the quarterfinals. That shared history creates comfort, trust, familiar rhythm. They know each other's games. They push each other without ego. This isn't just practice. This is preparation with purpose. Sierra opens against Peyton Stearns. Siegemund faces Petra Marcinko. They all have their own battles. But for now, they're building something in those practice sessions under the desert sun, and I can't help but think this environment suits Eala more than people expect. Slow courts mean longer rallies. Longer rallies mean more chances to expose movement and decision-making. Eala thrives in constructing points. She doesn't just blast, she builds. Her left-handed patterns open angles most players don't like seeing repeatedly, especially in high-bouncing conditions. But here's the question nobody is asking loudly enough. Is she ready for the pressure of being expected to win? Miami was freedom. Indian Wells is expectation. Being seeded changes perception. Opponents don't underestimate you. They study you. They prepare specifically for you. And fans? They start believing. That belief can lift you. It can also weigh on you. We've seen young players struggle with that transition. The jump from surprise package to target. So, which version of Eala shows up? The fearless wildcard, or the cautious seed protecting ranking points? I personally believe we're about to see a more mature version, because her trajectory over the last year hasn't been chaotic. It's been progressive, each milestone built on the previous one. She learned how to shock the elite. Then she learned how to win titles. Then she learned how to compete deep into tournaments across surfaces. Now she's learning how to carry expectation, and that might be the most important skill of all. Let's talk matchup scenarios. If she faces Yastremska, the key will be absorbing pace without retreating. Yastremska can redline, but on slow courts, that high-risk style becomes harder to sustain. If she faces Zhang Shuai, the rallies become chess matches. Patience, variation, mental endurance. Either path demands clarity. But here's the bigger picture. Indian Wells is often a launching pad. Strong runs here ripple into the Sunshine Double. Confidence spills into Miami. Rankings shift quickly. If Eala reaches the second week here, the narrative changes again. Suddenly, she's not just rising, she's arriving. And let's not ignore the symbolic layer. For Filipino tennis fans, this moment carries weight. Representation matters. Visibility matters. Seeing a Filipina seated at Indian Wells matters. The fan energy behind her is real. And while this tournament is in California, the emotional support stretches across the Pacific. That connection fuels something intangible. But I want to be clear. This isn't hype without analysis. There are still areas she must sharpen. Her second serve under pressure can tighten. Against elite returners, that becomes vulnerable. Her shot tolerance deep into third sets will be tested in desert heat. These are not criticisms, they're growth points. And the beauty of being 20 years old at number 31 in the world is that time is on your side. But here's the curiosity gap I want you to think about. What happens if she beats a former champion again here? Because look at this draw. Indian Wells always stacks former slam winners. If she navigates early rounds, she could collide with a top 10 name. And we've already seen how that movie can end. The tour ready for that again? Or was Miami the anomaly? This tournament might answer that. Personally, I don't think Miami was lightning in a bottle. I think it was the first crack in the ceiling, and cracks don't reseal themselves. If she makes a statement here, sponsors escalate. Media attention multiplies. Pressure intensifies. But so does belief. The transition from contender to consistent threat is subtle. It doesn't always come with a trophy. Sometimes it comes with presence. Walking onto Stadium 1 at Indian Wells as a seeded player, that's presence. Training with veterans like Siegemund, that's intelligence. Building chemistry with rising peers like Sierra, that's foundation. And foundation wins long careers. Now, I want to turn this to you. You think Alexandra Eala is ready to handle being hunted instead of being overlooked? Because that's the shift happening right now. The desert doesn't care about your ranking, it exposes truth. And we're about to find out how deep her game really runs. If she reaches the second week, remember this video. If she struggles early, remember this moment too. Growth isn't linear, but one thing is undeniable. Alexandra Eala is no longer knocking on the door. She's inside the house, and Indian Wells might just be the room where she rearranges the furniture. So tell me in the comments, is this the tournament where Eala officially becomes a top 20 threat, or does she need one more season to fully break through? I read every single comment, and the smartest takes always get featured in our next episode. This is RedDust Report, where we don't just follow tennis, we feel it. Stay sharp.